going on, everybody? I go by the name of Kari, and I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on SneakerPhetish. It's not just a Gucci Man song anymore. Bricks have been popping up and sitting on shelves at sneaker stores all across the country. Finally, you can walk into your favorite store and you can see a nice pair of Jordan Retros sitting on the shelf. Today, we're taking a look at one of those sneakers that you could probably go to your local sneaker store today and see on the shelf. Even though it's really popular, especially amongst OGs, how come it's not selling out? We're going to talk about it as soon as we take a deeper look. Without further ado, let's get into it. Boom. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2022 Air Jordan 7 Citrus. The Citrus 7s are back, and even though they had so much hype on them, nobody's really buying them for real. It's really interesting to see where we are right now in sneaker culture. Every time I think I got this thing figured out, you guys do something that just blows my mind. And the reception of the Citrus 7, or the lack thereof, is no exception to that. It's really been pretty incredible. But let's take a little deeper look at the shoe. Then we're going to talk about what makes these so special. All right, now starting with the upper of the shoe here, lots of callbacks to the original 2006 version of the Citrus 7, starting with that nubuck all along the upper of the shoe, from the top literally all the way to the toe box. You got that Jordan LS or lifestyle-ish type of stitching all throughout the shoe as well. I really like this with some of the lifestyle models that they did back in the day. Please, Jordan brand, if y'all are listening, please bring back that burgundy Air Jordan 5. I need that. But the contrasted stitching is back again for the Citrus Jordan 7. You also have that nice yellow stitch Jumpman on the lateral collar. Moving down from there, you have the classic Citrus 7 kind of peaks here. We call it the mountain peaks, whatever you guys want to call it, these little design embellishments here, with the red on the bottom, of course, with the citrus right above that. Taking the top down, look at the shoe here. Classic Air Jordan 7 silhouette. Nothing really different about it. You get a little bit more of that nubuck. You get that neoprene tongue on the outside of the tongue here, and of course, moving up to the tongue, you have the red stitched classic Air Jordan 7 Air Jordan logo. No extra laces or anything like that. You're just gonna pay your $210 and this is what you get. You get the shoe. Moving around to the heel, you have the classic Air Jordan 7 logo with that Citrus 7 right in that heel tab there. You also have the red pull tab above that, and of course the red 23 in the center. Classic Air Jordan 7 outsole, nothing really different there either. Just like the 06 model, red Jumpman on the heel, little pops of citrus, red and gray. And on the insole, you have a pretty generic insole, all black with the red Jumpman on the heel. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the 2022 version of the Air Jordan 7 Citrus. Now, there's two quick things that I want to talk about before we get out of here today. Again, it's a pretty simple shoe that does trace back to a really dope time in sneaker history. The first thing that I want to talk about, of course, the title. It's never clickbait on this channel. These really aren't the Citrus 7s, at least not the way that we know them, the people that were around back in 06 when these originally dropped. Then I want to talk about why in the world these are still kind of sitting on the shelves. First things first, when I say these are not the Citrus Air Jordan 7s, it's because even though we did take a look at the shoe, there are some really noticeable differences if you do have a pair of the 2006 Citrus 7s that almost made this sneaker unbuyable for the people that really just wanted to pay homage to that old school sneaker. Special thank you goes out to the homie Key, aka Key to Your Soul, on all social media platforms, for providing the comparison pictures between her 2006 Citrus 7s and the 2022 Citrus 7s as she picked up. If you have not checked out her episode of What You Got on the Sneakers app, you might want to check it out. It's really dope. With that said, there were three pretty major differences between the 06 pair and the 2022 pair. The first thing actually is the lace tips here. Now, I actually didn't have a picture of the lace tips themselves, but as you can see here, the lace tips on these are just kind of the regular kind of plastic tip lace tips here. But the 06 pair actually had metal tips on the shoelaces as well. So not sure why we weren't able to get those metal tips or even kind of those plastic tips, but we just got the regular laces with the regular lace tips on these. I guess they decided to just leave that part out. Now, the second major difference between the 06 pair and the 2022 pair comes from the tongue, but more importantly, the back of the tongue here. Now, on the 06 pair, the back of the tongue was actually a neoprene type of material. It was red, it shimmered a little bit more. It was very similar to the front of the tongue here on this pair, but it was also on the back of the tongue as well. For the 2022 version, for whatever reason, they chose not to give us that same material on the front and back of the tongue, but on the back of the tongue, we just got kind of the regular, just cloth material. I'm not quite sure why they did that, but Yeah, it's different. And finally, the third difference, and probably the biggest difference when it comes to the 06 versus the 2022 pair, is the color of the stitching all along the entire upper of the sneaker. On the 06 pair, the color was really more of that orangey type of citrus color, but on the 2022 pair, it's clearly a lot more yellow for the stitching that's on this pair as well. And I'm not sure if they couldn't find orange stitching this time around or couldn't produce that same color stitching, but it's really interesting that they've been doing a lot of these near replica versions or near one-for-one remakes of OG models. Is something similar that they did with the Penny Ones, but they're leaving out or changing something that, in my opinion, is a huge piece of this sneaker here. I mean, the fact that they don't have the same color stitching as the 06 pair, to me, was very odd, and for a lot of people, very disappointing. Now, with all that said, I'm still not mad at the Citrus 7s. Again, some people, it wasn't enough of a deal breaker. They still went ahead and purchased a sneaker. For other people, I understand it was a little different and maybe they didn't want to rock with it. So I think that's a perfect segue into the last kind of thought that I have with these sneakers is, why are they sitting on the shelf? Why didn't they sell out? Well, I think that there's a lot of environmental, socioeconomic, and community and sneaker culture factors to be considered when we're talking about why this sneaker is still sitting on the shelves. Number one, everybody's broke right now. Like, I know people like to pretend like they got money like that on social media. We ain't got no money like that no more. Like, I know it's a lot of people going into debt for a lot of these sneakers out here. Resale is still pretty down right now. The market is trying to kind of bounce back a little bit, but honestly, if it's not a sneaker that's like a big deal, like that green Spark off-white Air Force One that nobody knows when it's dropping, a general release like this is generally just not going to do very well as far as the resale markets right now. This part of the market where you would buy up a lot of these and be able to wholesale them to other stores, this part of the market is pretty down right now. Now, another reason why I know these are sitting on the shelves, honestly, is just because look at them. I mean, they're an all-black sneaker with some orange and some red. They're not really going to be the most popular color scheme for a lot of people that want to wear this sneaker, as they weren't back in 2006. Let's keep it a bean. These weren't selling out on the shelves on 2006 either. Like, back in the day, I remember seeing these sitting and a lot of these pairs really going on sale back in the day. Now, I love the fact that these were more of a cult classic. These were more of a culture-driven shoe. And if you liked the shoe, you loved the shoe. If you had it in 06 and you played ball in it, or you put together some really interesting outfits with it, then you really had to get your hands on the 2022 version. However, a lot of people passed on these back in 06 in favor of a lot of the other sneakers that were dropping back in 06, because we got some fire back in 06. You guys remember, we got Flint 7s in 06. We even got other 7s, Cardinal 7s in 06. We got Candy Cane 14s in 06. We got so many other models back in 2006 of Jordans that the Citrus 7s weren't that hard to pass on, just like they're not that hard to pass on in 2022. So with people's money being down, these not really being a hit like that, and with a lot of general release sneakers with newer sneakerheads, and I don't want to sound like I'm that guy when I say new sneakerheads versus like OG sneakerheads, but I just mean younger people. Like a lot of you guys, again, back in 2006, when these first dropped, a lot of y'all were very, very young, maybe into sneakers, maybe not even into sneakers like that yet. So now in 2022, a lot of you guys that weren't around back in 06, y'all don't really have the nostalgia tied to this sneaker. So for you guys, it's just a black, orange, and red Jordan 7. And the Jordan 7s really aren't that popular of a model anyway. So it's an easy pass, I think, for a lot of people, especially at full retail price. I think a lot of pairs of this sneaker got produced, and I appreciate that, but hopefully the brand understood that a lot of pairs were probably destined to make their way to the outlets, as I'm sure they're en route to the outlets for 30% off right now. My question to you guys, though, is would you cop these sneakers even if they were discounted, even if they got 30% off or 40% off or something like that? Would you guys still cop this sneaker at a discount, or would you just totally pass on these? That's what I want to leave you guys with today. Now it's time for you guys to settle down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about the Air Jordan 7 Citrus for 2022. Are these ones that were on your must cop list? If they were, or if you haven't seen a Got 'em screen in a while, this was a great way to see it. Or were these a hard pass for you? Sound off down below. Let me know. Of course, right down in the comments, make sure that you click on that subscribe button so we can welcome you into the Sneaker Phetish family, to make sure you don't miss out on any more heat that comes through like these, because I guarantee you I got a lot more heat on the way. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me here today on Sneaker Phetish, taking a look at these with me, unboxing them with me for a couple of minutes. I go by the name of Kari. This is the Air Jordan 7 Citrus for 2022. And until next time, I'm out.